we starting off with me. Well, what's going on, everybody? Don't mind the hoodie. I'm Darth Kua for the day. They found me at 11:30 in the morning trying to find my package.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing
yes.
good today. I'm doing
hell
hella
yeah,
good.
Hell yeah. We're also joined by NM Ninstar. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? Doing well, doing well. You know, it's a Sunday afternoon. I was just playing some Marvel right before this, and now I'm just gonna be ready to chop it up on the cast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's ready. He's ready. And last but certainly not least, we have Hispanic at the Disco.
How we doing, guys? Glad to be back, man. You know, it's always a pleasure to be on here. So it's a lot of fun. Got some interesting topics tonight. Or today, I should say, not tonight.
It will be tonight, midday. Like a few more hours.
It's midday. I'm so used to doing. I'm used to doing this. I'm used to doing commentary and whatnot late at night. So I'm just like, yeah, this is crazy. So
yeah,
no, not for real. And we got some interesting topics. But first, we like to break the ice. We like to ask all of our, casters on the deck right now, what fighting game move are they feeling like today? Starting with Kumo, what fighting game move are you feeling like today, brother?
I was thinking about it, and after having to wake up today and getting my timing just right, I'm feeling like Maton Kun's one of his supers from KOF 15. It's the super where he's like, it's the cross super. That's how I remember it. It's a cross super where he just floats into the sky, beam of light comes out, and he just falls back and goes to sleep. That's how I feel. Invincible reversal as well. Don't even think about waking me up.
Oh yeah, I got you. And then what fighting game move are you feeling like today, brother?
Brother, I am feeling like a foot dive. Of course, Dr. Doom from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Specifically, his forward heavy version where he's just kind of gliding through the air at a 45-degree angle, just kind of gliding through life, Yeah, I see you, Kumo. You already know. That's how I'm feeling.
I love doing foot dive loops.
Same here.
Hell yeah. Hispanic, what fighting game move are you feling like today, man?
Feeling like an Elena healing, I'm feeling rejuvenated today.
Okay.
We're out here, we're ready,
Okay.
Real. Ready to make people feel angry all the time. That's what my opinion is coming up here. So
I got you.
Well, now you gotta land the move. You gotta land the super this time to even get the healing off. So hopefully you can get that.
It's an invincible reversal, so. And she can combo into it. And she can combo
be damned.
So.
Okay.
As and for me, boys, I think I'm feeling like Kazuya's 444. The steel pedal hits grounded. It's a mid counter hit launcher. I just want to get motherfuckers up. This morning. Wake the fuck up. I dare you.
We're gonna get you a new move soon, DJ. We're gonna get you to start talking about Kazuya at some point, bro. We need to move on.
Man, I'm on the Kazuya train now.
That's his go.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's. I'm
at least he's got good shoe game.
Throwing out Dorias, and patricide fits and stuff. Yeah. So it's all ruthless. It's all warmongering type shit. That's what we're here for. Shout out to all our viewers in chat. Shout out to Medusa Serve, Tomadoc, and Asher. Welcome. As we go into our breakout weekly reset, we talk about all our breakout events that occurred throughout this week. Tekken 8, City of the Wolves, Guilty Gear Strive, and the Breakout Academy, which happened yesterday, which Kuma was on for.
Yep, I was over there for Breakout Academy, first time being there. I don't really get to commentate a lot of beginner matches, but being there for that Breakout Academy was definitely a good thing for me, because I honestly think it's good to be able to give these beginners and intermediates like some advice, or just, let them know, hey, my reactions are exactly what you're probably thinking, so the fact that I'm saying it means, all right, well, you're going to go into the lab and figure out something better.
Hell yeah. Also, finally kicking off Breakout with, City of the Wolves on Mondays now. Really, really fun. Man, this was a super stacked bracket, for City of the Wolves. I think SQ said something about how this is like one of the most stacked brackets they've played in for City of the Wolves so far. But man, oh man, it was this grand finals was close.
It's always close in SNK games. You gotta realize how down to the wire these games go, because something that we're seeing here in City of the Wolves is that this is not no standard KOF. No, this is like a hybrid KOF Street Fighter. Look at what Shadow X is doing right here, brother. Reset after the hit for a command grab and just kills. Like, yo.
Jeez.
Yo.
Also, great cable custom as well for Kevin.
Goated.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that, dude.
I was able to catch a lot of this tournament, thankfully, in the background while I was doing some other work. And I gotta say, it's always interesting to see a new fighting game come out, and see people kind of like, you've seen some people who've been really hardcore labbing like certain situations and things like that already, trying to get like the most optimal damage and whatnot. And it's interesting. You see the people who are like just naturally gifted in neutral, who are just able to, like the punk types, right, that are just able to really pick up any game and do well even if they're not optimal. Then you have the other people who are like really, really into it. And you're seeing them come out with some crazy setup. They're like, wow, you could kill from there. I didn't know. And got to see quite a bit of that in this tournament.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that, the two really big characters are that people have, been saying that they're the strongest, Hotaru and Hokotomaru, not make it to there isn't one in here in grand finals. There was a lot in top 8 for sure. A lot of Hokotomarus and I believe one Hotaru, one or two.
There is a tweet that I saw from Justin in his like replies or whatever, whereas like Hotaru and Kain our Heinlein is it's like the Yun and third strike level of, it's like the Yun and Chun-Li third strike levels of cheapness in City of the Wolves. And I was like, you know what? He's kind of onto something with that one. But on our screen here, we're seeing Rock and Kevin, two of the other most popular characters. Rock has always been pretty good for the most part. I compared him to being the sole bad guy for for Fatal Fury, which I gotta say kind of makes sense for me. Basic character, good tools, you can pull out some pretty nasty combos and big damage for all of them. But Kevin, heavy hitter and always has been. I think it was still top tier back in the Market of Wolves. My goodness, two different Wolves.
Mm-hmm. He was quite literally the top dog of the game.
Yeah.
I honestly, because I've never played an SNK game before, but my 2D fighter friend, he says he's like playing this game is like, sometimes you just get jump scared. They just run up, dash up, and they do a move. But you have with these mechanics, because there's a lot of offensive mechanics, but also at the same time some great defensive mechanics like hyper defense, rev guard, and stuff like that. So I think it is definitely a different dynamic of game from what I'm used to, at least.
Right. And it's always going to be that dynamic you'll experience no matter what game you put up on the screen or whatever game you decide to buy, really. But I got to say, though, I do love watching City of the Wolves because a lot of that comes from defense. You get very, very rewarded for defense in a game. And I think that is so awesome, but not as awesome as Mosh Pit Messiah rating us with a party of 10. Welcome to the chat, fam.
Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Link Up, our FGC-centric show, as we talk about our breakout weekly reset with Tekken here. Man, Shadow 20Z coming back to the bracket after a while. Had his one win in our first event in January. We came back from our, little break. And now coming back after, or before Level Up X, or after Level Up X, so sorry. Just going crazy with the Zafina, man. And dude, season 2 Zafina is so much scarier, so much scarier now.
I feel like,
I mean, it was definitely interesting. I caught this one as well because I saw Shadow was in the bracket, and it's always a pleasure watching Shadow. Just kind of like how he plays and navigates Zafina, right? We don't get to see as many Zafina character players anymore, right? You don't really see. I don't think you can't really think of any other big ones in NA. And watching this character that is just such a rarity online as well, and playing it so well in such a unique way, I think it's hard to tell if like all of this is just kind of like a knowledge check for the people he fights against, but on top of that, just how he plays neutral, how he like applies pressure and whatnot. King Ray obviously having a lot of trouble dealing with a lot of that pressure, but it was a great set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And something you gotta keep in mind that Shadow's been playing the game for like ages too. So when Shadow goes into these matches, he already understands what he's going through. He already knows what's coming up next. And he was playing Zafina even before the game, before the lifespan for Tekken 7 kind of just died off for a little bit. Now it's coming back, but it was still there. That was one of the characters he played.
Yeah. And that guy's a Mokujin, man. He has so many characters in his pockets, like he can switch to anyone. But you know, we got a bunch of different characters for Guilty Gear Strive on Fridays. I mean, we got, you know, the grand final Kensei versus Mike Saftig, and you know, this was pretty eventful. I mean, Guilty Gear the Strive community has shown us a lot of love for our Friday events. And it's been a great ride. Great ride.
Yeah,
really has. I literally got to cast this on Friday. I literally got to sit in the desk, and it was crazy because again they met up in winners finals, you know, and Kensei just absolutely decimated Mike Saptic, especially with, of course, Stun Dipper always able to mix up, especially in the air. Air normals on Kai are just absolutely insane. But you saw there, you know, right now Mike Saptic has that 2-0. They were about to get a bracket reset, but Kensei just quite literally said nah. Literally came back in and again just used all those tools I mentioned before and went crazy. Even here, I'm pretty sure they weren't able to secure it. Yeah, they got bursted.
But it's still like amazing to see Kensei play as well as Mike Saptic, as well as watching Guilty Gear Strive, because a lot of the stuff, it looks like a whole bunch of craziness happening on the screen, when at that it was just a whole scramble, and then Kensei, you know, found a hit and was able to make it work. And Kensei, as far as to my knowledge, I've started seeing them in Strive a little bit more like towards this season. But I gotta say, had I heard about this dude earlier, I would have been on the bandwagon for supporting Kensei a long time ago. This dude plays his game, he does his work, and he definitely knows his homework as well. Like this man gotta be getting hundreds on something, bro. There's no way he's not getting 100 on something.
Absolutely. And he has a great support system. His partner always in chat supportive. Yingling,
oh yeah.
Really just either give him compliments or give him the Asian mom treatment of Asian parent treatment of just calling out the mistakes, like, you know, why we giving up those combos, why we giving up these damage.
Yeah, I love seeing those
damage left on the plate, did not finish the veggies.
What do you mean you didn't kill him? You know what? You're not gonna come home tonight.
Yeah,
you're
like,
banned from the house.
Absolutely, dude.
If that was my partner, that would motivate me. I'd be like, all right, yes,
true,
yes, partner, yes,
yes.
Quite literally this.
Yeah, I do gotta say, man, it's always so nice to see, because you guys pulled up with, obviously, Breakout only recently started doing Guilty Gear. And it's always nice to see the Guilty Gear community kind of still pulling up. I mean, we're effectively like the last year of the game. We don't know if we're getting another season. Maybe we get another one, but it's so cool to see everyone pulling up and still having a good time.
Yeah, for sure. As we move back to the Tekken 8 side of things, you know, Shadow getting that win Wednesday puts him back into the champion circle. And of course, you know, leading the charge is P Link. You know, he's won the most amount of breakout series ever, period, with 15. And he's 2 away from claiming this current prize pool of $375. But, you know, King Ray's there, Shadow 20Z's there to take that, you know, to stop him from getting the last 2 wins. Of course, Cheese Yoni coming ever since, I believe Cheese Yoni was entered in our bracket in week number 4. Took 40 weeks to come back in week number 44 and won out. So now they're on, you know, they're on the board as well. So, you know, this prize pool could grow even more as we move into May, depending on if P-Link can get at least 2 more here. He has some chances remaining, but only 3 left. So, you know, it's getting competitive.
I like how Cheese Yoni, like you said, took 40 whole weeks to come back and did come play, and then not to mention win one of our brackets. They were on what I like to call the training arc, man. That's what that is. They were on a training arc to come get that dub.
Absolutely, because they, you know, they're not new to the online space. Of course, they play in TNS and Paragon, so they've definitely got, you know, they got accolades under their belt, but it took them a while to come back to Breakout, and it's great to see them. And then they just won it, you know, after coming back. They were in the hyperbolic time chamber, training, you know, getting their reps in, and they're like, all right, time to win the Breakout bracket. Why not? Why not?
Sometimes you gotta let people know that you're him, you know, and just that you're still around. They gotta watch out for you, especially playing a character like that.
Right?
So, gotta keep yourself on your toes. at all times.
Elisa is such a menace to society. I cannot explain how it feels to go up against one. You just have to do it for yourself, and then you'll see, oh, this is why y'all don't like this character. This is why does her chainsaw keep me from blocking for so long?
I don't know, man. That entire 5-man lineup is that all those
and none of them are King or Lars or the real problems. Lee, Steve.
None of those.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We were getting a little scene change, a little whiplash, but it's all good.
Our AI is kind of messing up over here for some reason.
Yeah.
I thought I gave him the update yesterday. He didn't believe me. He looked at me and was like, "What are you talking about? Update? I don't need an update right now."
I just gotta say, look, if I'm a player and I'm like a pretty good player, and I see that lineup and I'm like, "Oh man, I want to get that big prize pool," and then I see that my other competition is like a Zafina, Yoshimitsu, Asuka,
Xiao
be like, nah,
Yu.
I think I'm good. I don't know if
I think I'm good.
I don't think I need that stress.
You really
in my
gotta have some hater energy to really be like, I could disrupt this right now.
Yeah, like the door's right there,
stop.
Bucko.
Yeah, I could stop Peeling or King Ray from winning. And Joe Crush dropped out of that. So like if Joe Crush entered in any of our last brackets, he would be up there too. So and you would see a Jack 8 there. So I was like Ling Xiaoyu, Asuka, Jack 8, Yoshimitsu, Elisa, and Zafina. But of course, we had some great matches last night with the Breakout Academy finally coming back after a little bit of a hiatus. This is the Spring Break edition, so all matches were on the Seaside Resort stage, and everyone had to make a beach custom. So
yeah,
I like
this
it.
was
I like it.
a lot of fun to watch. I honestly like knowing that was a thing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I want it because look, the state of season 2 right now, and I feel like a lot of people will always talk about it because we're all playing this game together. You gotta have some type of fun and enjoyment despite what it is. But it was also fun watching the beginner intermediates out here in the Breakout Academy, and I had a very fun time being able to talk and try to give some advice here and there. As someone who's been playing the game since 7, may not be the most OD player on planet Earth, but I can at least say, what was a good call right here and what might not have been a good call right there. Especially when you look at the footage of other players who are doing, if not some of the same things as you, just on a way different level. But I gotta say, Star Tides, I'm looking forward to seeing how their king turns out later on in the future, because they were definitely giving Mieso a run for their money, but also they came from loser side, dog.
Yeah, absolutely. And what an incredible loser side run. And me, Serb, and Farafib, we were just talking, watching the games, and it's definitely interesting watching beginner and intermediate Tekken because they go for options that you wouldn't think of, but it works sometimes. And then you're like, oh man, you could like the match could be totally different if they knew this punish, or they knew they could duck this part of the string, or they could walk it, and it adds a different dynamic to just watching the game. You're like, oh man, because Star Tides, from what I've seen, when I watched, man, he was getting away with full crouch down forward 2 the whole way. After down forward 2-1 gets blocked, full crouch down forward 2.
Just went for it
every
again.
time.
It's kind of similar to how Reina just does full crouch down forward 4 at certain times. It just gets away with murder. If you got a full crouch move, it's like, oh, I can't deal with it. Harada kept trying to cancel our stream too. Medusa says in chat, if y'all were there for that, we will get that better and get that fixed up, I'm sure, for a fact. But don't let it deny the fact that these two players were still playing their game and having a grand old time doing so.
Yeah, and Miso was just playing everyone. We had Anna,
literal
Clive,
Mokujin,
Jack, King, Baja Blast, and it's just and they had Spring Break customs for every single one of them.
Yep.
I might have.
They did, but I gotta say,
they came out with the fit for each. For each character.
They pulled the hell up. They said beach episode. I gotta bring out all the fits.
Listen, they were ready for sure. So yeah, this was definitely very much an enjoyable set. Very much enjoyable to watch those players.
Wanted to point out something else. Oh my god, my brain. You mentioned earlier that it's always fun to watch beginner intermediate brackets. like, 'cause, you know, they're doing things that we wouldn't expect them to do. I also think it's very funny to look at because for me, that's something I think about in my past. It's like, as someone who I am now, playing the game that I do now, seeing newer players come into the game and doing things that just make me go, "Why would you do that there?" It just makes me chuckle because I'm like, I used to do the same thing, dude.
Exactly. I used to just, you know, mash buttons and try to get something going. And I still mash. You know, we still mash a little bit, but you know, it's definitely really funny to see like what newer players to like competitive Tekken get caught up on, and what moves that they struggle to like fight against, or what characters they struggle to fight against. You know, it's definitely interesting to see. But we got the next topic here. You know, widely talked about for the last, you know, week and a half. The RIPS. If you guys don't know, there's two commentary legends, we'll say. Spaghetti Rip or Spag and Repaul or Rip. They made some announcements on their social media, specifically Twitter, saying that they will not be they were not selected, or they will not be commentating for the big Tekken World Tour events this year, which a lot of people, you know, were surprised at. And yeah, right here, not work for TWT this year / anymore. So, you know, Rip is now, you know, looking for commentary work, which you know, he'll get with this resume for sure. Legend.
Yeah.
But it comes to a lot of people's surprise, a lot of community in shock, especially with everything that happened with season 2 and how, you know, Bandai and the devs have been handling it. The trust for Bandai is at an all-time low, especially in the tech community. So a lot of people are assuming that maybe they're letting Rip and Spag go for specific reasons. That is not confirmed at all. You know, neither commentator has come out to say like what exactly why they weren't selected or anything like that. But yeah, right here from Spag, ladies and lads, it was a good run. I'll now be on commentary for Tekken World Tour. I'll be around to work non-TWT events, hopefully in sport events where I can. Regardless of everything, I'm proud of what I've done over the years. We changed the game. Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah, they definitely changed the game. It's seeing Spag and Rip not on TWT, because mind you, these guys were around since Tekken 7. You know, for those who may not be aware, these guys have been commentating for a long time. Like when we were all finally dipping our toes, us modern boys dipping our toes into the Tekken world. So seeing them not there after giving us such an amazing time, it's kind of unfortunate. Now, I will say some people would probably have said, oh, maybe it was, you know, about their time to go. We're not too sure about the details, and sometimes I like to say it's best if I don't know the reason. I just know you're gone, and I'm going to try and fill that void up for myself, and hopefully the other co-commentators that they've worked with in the past and who are still on the TWT can do the same thing, because it's going to be a rough one for some people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million different things that it could be. A lot of people I think have been talking about it, that there's a lot of parallels here to, like, you know, Sajam, when Sajam got effectively banned from doing Street Fighter commentary for almost the entirety of Street Fighter V's lifespan up until basically like the last season. You know, and that was basically off the whims of just like a random head at Capcom, right? Until that person left, effectively they didn't like, you know, they just didn't like some of the stuff he said, and then like, all right, he's out. And this could be the same thing at Bandai Namco. We have no idea, right? And I don't think it's fair to Bandai Namco to just speculate and just be like, oh, it's definitely Harada, right? Like Harada came in and said, you know, screw Rip and screw Rapal. Like, no, it's spaghetti. Like, it's not. I don't think it's anything as drastic, because honestly, I don't recall them really making any egregious comments over season 2 comparatively to like other players, right? And other things.
Not at all. Like, so, I think they were pretty in support of it, or like at least like, hey guys, let's see what's up with this.
They were still trying to find the good inside the season.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was gonna mention how in terms of Spag, I think there was so many comments. I remember when season 2 was coming out that they were calling him a shill. like Bandai shill and everything, and those same people are in support of him now. Like, oh man, why did Bandai, drop you? You're a legend, this and that. So I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
What is it saying? You never know. You never know. You knew you wanted something until it's gone, right? Or you never knew you liked it, right? And so it's the same thing, man. Like, it's people do it to Sajam, people do it to everyone else. It's the St. Cola, right? All these people who do commentary for the world tours, they always call them shills, even if they support the game, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot more of the major companies are a little bit more lenient to people criticizing the games now, right? And not just being like, oh man, you have to say only nice things about the game at all times, right? Obviously, they don't want you going in and being like, this game is this game's dog shit or whatever, like, right? Yeah. but like, criticism is, I think, is a little bit more allowed now, right? Maybe less so at like the big events, right? We're not saying like they should change this, but you can make commentary on certain things about it, right? And I think that, who knows that if that was the case, I would like to err on the side of, I'm sure there was maybe some kind of discussion that was made there between them, and maybe they're giving up spots to let newer people, come onto the show, because there's obviously a lot of rising commentators, especially for Tekken. And it will stink to not see familiar faces matched with newer people, right? Because I think, like, I'll make the comparison again. I think Capcom World Tour has done a good job of that, right? We don't know, obviously, I'm not saying that like Vicious is leaving or anyone else, but we're seeing newer people being added on with the old heads, right? With the people who've been there for a while, and hopefully we, whoever takes up those spots, whoever kind of fills in, they'll do a good job as well.
And something I want to add on to that as well is, like, you also got to remember that we have Arc Systems World Tour, Arc Revel World Tour. That's another major tournament world tour that has a lot of those same mix of characters. We had Hella Brett. I feel like Hella Brett was on Arc Revel World Tour at some point, but I cannot remember the exact time when. But seeing him again now, commentating for YouTube, was also a pleasure and a blast to see happen live. We got that. They have that same thing over there too. It's nice. You're right about that as well, by the way, Hispanic, that when companies want you to say nice things about the game, it can kind of dampen how you want to approach the game, right? Like, they're going to get some new talent here. They might tell them, hey, we want you to say nice things about the game only. You can't really critique it. But older commentators used to do it. Even they might have been told that same thing as well. But since they're leaving, who knows what might change? Who knows what the dynamic might be this time going forward? There's a lot of things to look forward to. But I will say it will be a good time to see newer faces on the mic, because I think it's at that point where some of these people, no offense to them, but they probably are just not, I'm not going to say tired. They maybe, want to take a little step back. And who knows, we might have a situation where they could come back with one of the newer faces, and then it'll be just a blast. You never knew you needed it, but you got it anyways.
Yeah.
And you go.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just want to say, like, last thing for me is, like, obviously, the thing that needs to be said. I think obviously with the PR nightmare that has been season 2 of Tekken, obviously this doesn't help, right?
No.
In the views of like DJ said earlier, right? Like the trust is not really there at the moment with Bandai Namco and the developers. Obviously, this past patch, the very small one they did here in April, has helped a little bit. Again, I don't think if anyone was expecting something big, they're crazy. Obviously, at least it looks like they're tackling stuff. We're going to get another one here in May, right? I think that is the assumption. So we'll see, man. It's going to be a little scary, but I'm hoping. It just feels weird for them to do this. It feels like this was something that was already planned ahead of time, more than likely, right? And they just told Rip and Spaghetti not to say anything until a little bit closer to the dates when we start. But it could be anything, right? It could be entirely wrong. It could just be they literally just dropped it on them now, and then it's just like whoever their marketing guy is screaming at them to, like, why are you making this decision? We're already
So, it could be a lot of things. There's so many variables in this discussion, because like you said, like, there's people, they're used to seeing those guys on the microphone and in the booth, and they grew with them, watching them through Tekken 7. Casting all the big major events, so it'll definitely be a change, and like the choice to do this now is definitely like you said, Hispanic, is definitely weird to do right now, because like even if like let's say their goal is Bamco's goal is to get new faces into commentary, I just know certain parts of the tech community is not gonna like that, and they're like
Yeah.
whoever they choose to be the next new faces for TWT this year, they're gonna get a lot of flack, a lot
Yeah.
of flack.
They want people to hold
if
up.
they're like qualified, to the nines or not, So it's definitely gonna be it's gonna be rough. But hopefully, Tekken trends in a better direction. It seems like it is. I think Arslan posted a picture with him and Harada today, saying that he's confident in TWT moving forward. So maybe they had a discussion, or they took that selfie together. So
after unblocking him,
yeah. Leap says, my honest opinion, they've wanted to do this for a while, so they decided to rip off the Band-Aid while the publicity is already bad. I mean, yeah, that's also true. Could be doing that. Like, you know what? It's already a shitstorm. Let's just push it up,
And he also adds that it doesn't make sense to earn the trust and confidence back of the people just to tarnish it again. So while we got it, we're gonna get rid of all the stuff that we probably have been wanting to do. And when we get these new things in, y'all are gonna have to either like it or you don't. Because again, people will be people at the end of the day, but probably not what's gonna be happening for a while after this Band-Aid's been taken off.
Yeah. And following some more, kind of upsetting news with more somber news. The fate of the East Coast. East Coast Throwdown made an announcement a few days ago saying that they are canceling East Coast Throwdown 2025. It made a statement after months of planning, just couldn't, a lot of variables, it just couldn't, puzzles couldn't fit right. And they just said, you know what, just got to cancel this year. And this is, I believe, now the second big tournament that we've been canceling this year. This follows up C Otaku being canceled this year. And this raises a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, because especially I've seen so many people come out, even some of our own, like Mayasma and stuff. Like some people got their shot at East Coast Throwdown. That's kind of the big thing out there. And even talking to Tomodoc, who was at DIY, after that announcement, there were people clamoring to try to get into DIY, even though the registration already passed. Hearing this news, so it definitely sucks, and sad that I hate to say this, but this might not be the only one, or this might not be the last one we get this year, considering how everything's moving. Like in the FGC, outside the FGC, it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Mm-hmm. It is starting to get tough. It really hurts because, again, we said before, I'm one of those, modern, new into the FGC, really only starting to get into this stuff maybe late last year. And it sucks because I'm excited for CEO, don't get me wrong. And to see both East Coast Throwdown and CEO Otaku, not happening this year, I'm very involved in my local scene. And, everybody's pretty bummed about that. But as you said, DJ, there's a lot of factors in and outside the FGC that are kind of contributing towards that. The fact that the standard for video game releases is starting to move more and more to $80, especially, first started off with Nintendo, now Microsoft's doing it. It's
gonna
becoming
be 100,
scary.
Yeah.
Dude, it's going to be 100.
You seen
We're already
that
at
shipping,
80.
bro?
They got 1 year to get to 100.
Already on. They're already. What I'm saying, they're going up.
They're going all the way up, and they're not stopping. Nimstar, you also do bring up a good point when it comes up to costs about fighting game. A lot of this stuff has a lot of money that's sunk time into it. A lot of people got to remember that. A lot of these events are ran not just by us, but with that support. When people say support your locals, they mean that wholeheartedly, because your locals are how you become bigger and bigger and bigger with more people that attend it over time. When you don't have that local support, especially with the way tournaments are dying down now, for the most part, a lot of people, like you mentioned, this was some of our first tournaments that we gone to. I think the first major one I went to was Rossi's. But when I went to CEO Taku, I was just gonna say this is my staple. I'm going back every goddamn time. And when I found out the cancellation happened, I was like, well, now my Florida plans are ruined. Do I just go to Holiday Matsuri only? Because like that's cool, but I want to play the fighting games too. It
Yeah,
sucks.
it's unfortunate, but again, it's that cost. Like even about 2 months ago over here in North Carolina, we had a bit of a smaller regional for a convention called Ibashokon called Gohan Kumite. And I was talking like after everything was done, we were packing up and I was like, hey, for the stream, we didn't like stream it on Twitch. We just recorded VODs and just uploaded them later on YouTube. I was like, why did we do that? And they're like, oh yeah, we just straight up could not afford internet. You'd be surprised on how big that bill is for a lot of these big majors and regionals, because they were charging like what, maybe like 11K, 12K over at the hotel, like some egregious amount. And like, dang, yeah, just for internet.
No, I mean, I was literally gonna bring that up. Like, I think Jabali has talked about it quite a bit. Rick, also for Evo, just the internet costs alone are insane, and the extra add-on costs that so many convention centers put on. If you even go like slightly post the time that you said that you're going to be there, like the extra fees are egregious. Like just having like even having just like air conditioning at an event, right? Like turning on the air conditioning adds on like so much money for the events as well. So there's so many hidden costs that people don't think about. Like everyone's like, oh, well, it's just like the consoles, right? Like just put the consoles, you got internet, and then you just kind of put it in. There's so much that goes into it, right? And I don't want to say that this is a trend at all. Like, oh man, all the we're cooked. All the all the major events are gonna be over, right? I don't see that yet. I do think that at least for CEO Taku, it was a little bit of weird because of like convention planning and
right.
It's just the timing was weird for them and whatnot. So like I feel like for CEO Taku, we'll definitely see them next year. I think it just again the timing was weird and trying to find the right convention center and all that, especially with the change now for CEO being back in Orlando and all that stuff. I think a lot of these things kind of added up, and it just the stars didn't align right this time around for CEO Taku, and I think that's fine. And I think my hope is that it's the same for East Coast Throwdown, right?
You're right.
I think a lot of people will find that we'll see a lot of these events back. I don't like East Coast Throwdown. I think is too popular of an event for it to just be gone forever. I'm hoping, right? Knock on wood. Right? I hope I don't curse it with that as well. But it's rough. I mean, with and like I said before, with everything happening around the world right now, with with all of our fun politics and stuff like that, it's uncertain no matter what industry you're in, whatever hobby you have, right? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 4 to 5 years. So just trying to plan around that, I can't imagine it has to be the most nightmarish thing in existence.
Yeah.
And I also go ahead, DJ. No, so you want to?
No, I was gonna say, like absolutely. Even Leapfrog says it in chat. It's tough.
Yeah.
The economy, everything's getting more expensive. He said Leapfrog said his local went from a $10 entry to $25 entry, which is a big jump. Big jump, dude. But at the same time, like justified, because you really can't be mad at it because it's so much cost, so much hidden cost, and then also at the same time, not like especially for Tekken, people are not coming out to the locals. Like, bro, I know last week or the week before when we had Mayasma on the show, she said that they usually have like at least 30 people, and it went down to like 10, 12. Our local went from like 15 to 9 to last week we had 2. We had 2.
It's just going down. Damn. That sucks.
2 for Tekken.
Hear.
2 for Tekken 8, dude. 2 people. 2 whole people. And oh man, it's rough, dude. And hopefully Hispanic said, it's not a trend. It's not like GG's, it's FGC, it's a wrap. We can see ECT next year. We'll see CEO Taku next year.
Right.
2026. Hopefully things balance out. All we can do is hope. But right now it's not looking good for a lot of events.
You gotta hold out hope, because also Stars mentioned the tourism into the U.S. from other countries is at an all-time low. So prices are rising for their events and costs. Something you gotta also keep in mind is that a lot of these people who are saying, oh, yeah, I'm not going to drive out, 20 minutes to pay this much for a local and go play. Well, now you really don't have a local at all. So now what do you have to deal with? Where are you going to have to go this time? It's always good to be aware. I think I said in the tweet recently, I was like, don't complain if you're aware about something and you're choosing not to do it. If you're going to be aware about something and not do anything, at least admit that you should have just, done something about that a while ago.
Yeah, I just want to add real quick. Like, I think it's rough, especially for like local FGCs. Like,
Very.
I play, like, for example, like I play tabletop games. I play Warhammer, right? I have my own army and everything, and I play in person. So we support the store that we're at because we have to go play. We need a place to play, and so we have to go there and play in person. Right? I can play online. Like, there are ways to play online, but it's more fun to play in person. And there's a little bit more incentive for us, right? I painted my models, I put them all together, I want to see them on the board. And the difference for the FGC, I think a lot of new people who are coming in, they don't really get what it's like to play with people in person. It's a lot more fun. I think it is genuinely more exciting. It is more enjoyable to play in person than to sit in your house all day playing ranked. It's just the thing that stinks is that it's just easier to do that, right? Like, again, like like Kumo said, like why am I going to drive 20 minutes, pay $25, right, or whatever, to play in a double bracket tournament, lose immediately, and then I guess hang out? I mean, most locals obviously aren't even like that. Most of them are just, hey, like just come over and we all play together. Like, that's all.
Yeah.
We're going to be here for like 2 or 3 hours. We're all just going to play some games together. And it's just a matter of, like, do you care about that community? Do you care about building it up? Do you care about hanging out with your friends, right, or making new friends, right? Because I've yet to ever go to a local where everyone's an asshole, right? It happens. I mean, I'm sure there's guys that are like that, but most people are pretty good at shutting those people down, and you can always find your own group as well. But it's difficult, and I think that connection needs to be made for new people. And I don't know how you do it now, right? Like, majors are one big way of, like, telling people go to a major, right? Because then they've experienced that. They're like, hey, maybe I should go to my local, right? Because it's a smaller version of that. Right, but it's just, how do you make that connection? How do you get people to go to the locals, right? How do you get them to make that effort to support them? Because
what's that incentive?
Again, the unfortunate thing is people are lazy, and it's easier to just sit at home all day.
Absolutely.
And if I can add on to that, like, really quickly before we move on to our next topic, that's only just the East Coast, by the way. Keep in mind that is all East Coast related events. Like, we just had DIY, but we have our West Coast and we have our Central FGC. DJ can attest to me for this because he was here at Texas Showdown for Post Oak Fight Club, which is a Wednesday local that we have every night. If you guys don't see me on commentary, you'll usually know that I'm at my local supporting them. That is a local that's been started off, like, I think a little bit late last year, a little late last year. But DJ was there, and he looked like he was having a great time. Lucy was also there commentating as well. He also had a great time at the local. It is like, that's something that's really amazing. And every Wednesday, we always go out there. We're just there for a good time. People who may get into this FGC may not know what exactly is the right way to go about it, but it's just show up, bring a controller, and just plug in and play. If you have a question, please feel free to say something. And if you want to just be a goofball, just do that. Like, you can just say, damn, I got hit by that.
You just sit there and watch, bro. You could just, like, go up to any setup and just start talking smack, There's
various different ways to approach there's various different ways how to approach a local. You just have to, at the end of the day, what I got to say is just be chill. Just be chill. And you'll be wanting to come back all the time. I guarantee you. Just be chill, have a good time, and remember, you're there to just escape, because if you're not aware of what's already going on in the current world, how can you really move on forward with anything else? Like, we already got our tournaments being taken down from us. This is already the start.
Yeah, for sure. I also wanted to add, Leapfrog said, well, DJ plays Jin. You're probably the main reason driving everyone away.
So true.
We have 3 King players, a Lars player, and I was not one of the 2 that went to the local, so I'm part of the problem as well. So but Oath says it's GG's to grassroots events. Only events that will last are like CEO and Combo Breaker, since it's a big company running it and supplying the equipment. Since FGC pushed Big E
and his health
and Shin Blanca out, we don't have things anymore. So
yeah. When you don't have those names that help you, get your FGC like running, when you don't have those very strong names that have been around since the dawn of time, since before I probably even came out the effing womb, you know what I mean? when they're not around no more, is going to be even tougher because some of these people who are finally getting on are probably having to deal with what they have to deal with, and they don't know how to go about it just yet. And you got to keep in mind, folks, money is, being sunk into this. Money that may not even be yours. It may not even ask you for money at all. But when it does require money,
not even turning a profit either. Like
barely
even at the best. At best,
barely. That's why we always say support that Matcherino, because that goes right back to y'all.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes, sir. Well, in better news, we had Level Up Expo that went around. Not strictly an FGC event. It's kind of just a major convention. In general, cosplay, all that, anime, gaming, and of course had a fighting game tournament. Had some big name players come out, especially for Tekken 8. Arslan Ash, Rangchu TWT champion, John Ding. Also some heavy hitters from the NA side: Cuddlecore, Shadow 20Z, P Ling, King Ray Jr., Avery Run It Black, and it was definitely a fun time to watch. Some good money on some of these prize pools too. I believe $5,000 prize pool for Tekken 8, and $10,000 prize pool for Street Fighter 6 Flight Quest. Punk getting that win over there as well.
Nicely done. Shout outs to Punk for that one. We also do want to point out that our good co-commentators and casters and players, Asherhawk and Leapfrog, were also there. So we definitely got to see Leapfrog on screen, and I was very happy to see that man perform because, again, I just like to see my boys win, and if we can win, that's all that matters to us. But, Arslan, look at him.
It's always a pleasure to see. It's always a pleasure to see Paul on screen.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Messed up ass character, but he's goated though.
Best character in the game, bro. Don't let anyone. Sleeper top one. I'm just saying.
Look, as long as we have our honest opinions, okay? As long as we know the truth, we can move on in life.
Oh man, but yeah, dude, this set here was crazy good too, man. Idom is one of those players, man. I just want to say, like, it's so funny because everyone's like, oh man, this guy complains about SF6 all the time. Like, he's just bad at it. He just doesn't get it. But, like, Idom is still performing at such an insane level while not enjoying this game all too much.
Yeah,
right?
he does not look like he enjoyed that loss.
It sucks because he's playing a grappler, Manon, a new grappler in Street Fighter 6. So the way he has to approach a lot of the matchups is just like, it doesn't really work out in her favor almost all the time. Like, it's a genuine struggle for her unless you just don't know how to fight the character. But I don't,
yeah, I mean, she's just really not playing the same game as everyone else, right? And it kind of sucks. And I feel like if I don't think they're adding Laura back, but if once he finds his character that he really vibes with, I know he likes Manon, but I don't know if Manon is really like that character is really like has that potential that he can really exploit at the same level as like Laura was, right? Like, Laura was one of those characters in Street Fighter 5 where everyone's like, oh, she's like. And in NA, we were like, oh, Idom beats our ass every week, like every day.
Yeah,
so
Idom was cooking. That
this character is still really good. But like in Japan, they're like, she kind of stinks because in Japan's mind, if there's not a good Laura cooking everyone, then the character's bad.
Yeah.
And then obviously Idom shows up at a tournament over there and absolutely destroys everyone, right? If it's
not just changes their whole opinion on the character.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like it's kind of the same way here. It's funny because there is a really good Manon over actually the number one MR player in the world before the reset is a Manon player that doesn't go to any tournaments. I think they've been to like 2 offline tournaments ever, but they're like insane, and they're like one of the best players in the world right now. And it's a Manon, right? So it's just weird. It's just weird because like I feel like Idom's just like. I think he's almost there. I think he just needs a new character. I think he needs another grappler to show up. Alex.
Give me Alex.
He almost reset the bracket against Punk in that set. So
he did.
He's right there. It's right there.
I do appreciate
really cool to see
though.
both those games.
And I just want to say I had a player actually I've been helping for the past couple weeks. Shout out to Paintball, Squid Paintball. He actually went 2-2 at his first tournament. He went to level up.
Hey.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, he was. I'm telling you, when I see a man like his abs nervous as this guy, he's just like, I'm not that good. I swear. I'm like, dude, you're like such a solid player. Like, just play your game, be like, do your thing. And he went 2-2, which is super impressive. Did very, very well. So shout out to him for doing that, because it's I feel like anyone, like if you can go 2-2, I mean, I think what is it, half the players in a bracket have to go 0-2, right?
Yeah,
so even just winning one game puts you better than half the players that have shown up, right? So like and going 2-2 I think is like always a great feat. So
if you can't go,
absolutely.
if you go 0-2, it's fine. But if you go 2-2, that's just even better. Even a 1-2, take it like, if you get around, I'll even take it like that. Get around, you're happy, but at least you didn't go out like no chump. You know what I mean? But 1-2 is never a bad thing either. 0-2, it's also not a bad thing. You just learn from it. That's really what it is. Like Leapfrog in chat, he went 6-2. He almost made it to top 8. It could have been him.
Yeah,
it could have been him.
He was prepared to fight the Raven player. But the Raven player beat Shadow, so he had to fight Shadow to try to get in the top 8. So that, I'm not saying that.
Hey, I'm the only person here right now. You calm down over there.
The frog trying to sabotage the stream already, bro. I see you, bro.
But yeah, so yeah, even for on the Tekken side, it was really cool seeing these players come out and play, because I don't believe Level Up was it was neither a TWT qualifier or an EWC qualifier. So they were just there just for the love of the game, which is just trying to see how they fare up in this new season. For season 2, Arslan even tweeting out winning the first major tournament of Tekken 8 season 2. It's a big feat. Also, at the same time, getting information about NA's finest, P Ling, a staple here. Breakout went out to play. We know how good he is. Arslan made a tweet regarding P Ling. He said, "Before my match with P Ling, I had an hour-long call with your Reds, and he taught me so much about Ling that I didn't know before. I believe getting insight into how your opponent thinks, plays, and where their weaknesses lie is also so important. I also studied P Ling's past matches, which made a huge difference. Big thanks." So yeah, that's crazy, because we had that discussion early on in the year, Spag kind of instigating about the UK versus NA Tekken,
right.
But I think this is little proof. We can take the W here, North America. Okay, Arslan had to watch film. He had to study. Watch the Ling matchup for one of NA's finest, P Ling, the Titan of Time. And to try to beat him. And I mean, there were some really good sets, really, really good sets. Watching P Ling play, it was really cool. Cheering P Ling on during this bracket, fighting Shadow 20Z, and then fighting him again in Breakout. I believe during this week they were set to play on stream, but they were playing ranked to keep their hands warm, and they ran into each other. So they played a ranked set, and they had to finish it, and then they came on for stream, and then they played again. So it was like a run back after a run back.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. Wild. Yeah, I mean, I just gotta say, it's got to be the greatest honor if the best player, the best Tekken player to ever do it is I had to study up on how to beat you, because I have no idea what your character does. You have enough control over this character that I actually really need to study, right? Because I can't think of any other really, really big Xiaoyu players out there that have been making as many waves as P Ling, right? So it's always cool. You're such a character specialist. I really got to look this up, right? And the character's good. Right? It's not just you're a character specialist for a bottom tier that has 3 or 4 gimmicks. No, this character can just completely obviously she has that really low stance and all that stuff. She has so many ways to just completely mess you up. So you really got to adjust yourself on how you fight against her. So really cool.
Also, they want to add that there is another Ling player. I had the pleasure of meeting him, Booster Blast, over at Frosty.
Booster Blast
I think
too.
Maya may know him as well.
Yeah. P-Ling and Booster Blast are right there.
Yep.
In terms of Ling players, and they play differently too. That's the thing about Ling Xiaoyu is that their approaches to Ling are not vastly different, but they're different enough. You can have a sense of identity as how they're playing. But P Ling, I think he's so good because he's mastered changing up his play style. I think because he can be aggressive. We've seen how in the breakout series alone, he can just run up on you, start packing on the plus frames, hitting the frame traps. But then once he gets that health lead, once he pokes you down enough, he can play that patient game. He just plays defensively, just waits, use the lateral movement, AOP, sidesteps, you name it, and he's got you in this vortex. So yeah, no, like you said, Hispanic, like that's got to be like the highest praise, like one of the best players in the world, saying like I gotta study this player. I have to watch their matches. I have to know this matchup. And I'm surprised there's not a lot of Ling Xiaoyus out in Pakistan, playing. So, maybe like because I believe
they don't want to be
it's
goofy.
really cool how different regions like value different characters. Sometimes you don't see certain characters. I don't think there's not a lot of like Hwarang players out there in I think Pakistan either. So that's why Edge at TWT was really giving all the Pakistani players a lot of trouble. So,
it does you a good service to play other characters, and I think that that goes into a lot of different fighting games like Strive, Tekken, Street Fighter, or KOF. You become a knowledgeable person on a lot of the characters. It helps you out a lot. Leapfrog in chat, says Link kind of feels like a legacy character. So people who haven't started with her back in the day, they don't really try and pick her up. But the thing is, you gotta. I honestly understand that, but even then, it shouldn't like kind of scare you from it. I don't really have a pocket Ling. I kind of wish I did. But for me, like, I didn't really pick up Ling just because she just wasn't my type of character that I thought would play. But the more I watch her, the more I'm like, you know what, you are you're very tricky. And I like to have scramble moments. I kind of realize that more in certain games. Like, I like to play a scramble because when I get that hit, you're done for, bucko.
Mm-hmm.
And when you duck under the death fist.
90%
AOP, man. Good old AOP.
Man. Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of like, we all play, as casuals, we also play fighting games as well. We also are in here. Wanted to end this little episode on a lighter note. We got Fake Bruno back on the podcast, inadvertently. He put out a tweet, the anti-Street Fighter Crashout Tech. He has a list that includes, daily meditation, reflecting on affirmations. You can see right there, number 1, my opponent is not my enemy. There's an answer to every situation. Losing doesn't make you a bad person. Winning doesn't make you a good person. No matter how my opponent wins, it's not a reflection of who they are. My skill doesn't reflect my intrinsic value. Practice reduces stress in-game. People matter. My opponent is a person. Fight to maintain integrity. Growth is gradual. Consistent effort is the only way to progress. And winning isn't the goal. Progress is the goal. Which is a nice list. It's a great list.
And there's more.
Yeah. There seems to be more. I think maybe, he just cuts it off there. But, a lot of people, in the comments, being pretty gracious about it. It's a good, healthy mindset to just set yourself up to just not tilt, because I think that's really important when you're competing and you're trying to be good at fighting games. Is you got to understand, like, it's your fault, but you got to be kinder on yourself and kinder to your opponent at the same time. But the only reason I put this here is because there's some people who took this in a more comedic way. Eunice said, stop reading it right here. At number 1, my opponent is not my enemy. Which is,
of course,
I feel that because, every, like, person I've talked to who plays fighting games, like, competitively, like, always going, always traveling, always competing, they said, dude, you just gotta hate your opponent. Like, you gotta in the match, like, doesn't matter. Like, you could be cool, smiles, GGs, and handshakes, but during the match, that is your enemy. You have to destroy them. Okay, that's a mindset you gotta have. And I think Giuna's just trying to make that point. But also this one from Killer Cobes, graded Bruno's
CV
list.
after class.
CV after class is kind of
The CV after class, so that one kills me. 5 out of 11 in F.
You know,
oh Lord,
this is, funnily enough, like, of course we all in this current call at the moment have our own opinions that we probably want to say, right? But this is from Bruno, like, unironically, this is damn near pretty good, because something that you got to remember is that a lot of people, despite how they feel about the character, they have to go off, they want to go offline and play against these people who play those characters. And to have these sorts of thoughts running through your head is one way to, you know, grow better. And not to mention, this helps people want to come back out more. So while this is, like, you know, kind of helps with your online self, you also got to think about how this caters to your offline presence as well, because you're going to be going up against a lot of people who've been playing the game longer than you. You're going to go against a lot of people who have more consistent time in the game than you, whether they come home from work, whether they work or not, whether they have a full-time job or not. So that list right there, treat it how you want to treat it. But there is truth in what fake Bruno said. And I think a lot of people have to remember that fact. Jokes aside, of course, we can always have a good joke and a good laugh. But there is serious truth in that.
Listen, I'm a hater. You know, everyone's my opponent. Listen, all right. I'm everyone's number one op. All right. Listen.
Okay.
You're the guy that caused genocide.
You come up against me on ranked. I hate you. I despise your.
Don't play Blanca
family.
against this man.
Yes.
Don't play
dude.
So you're the
you
one
see
who
my rant?
the
I don't know if you saw my rant on STV this past Friday, bro. That shit, I hate that character. Drives me up a wall, bro. Oh my god, man! I swear, I had one of our players was playing Blanca, and I just jumped in his game, like in their custom lobby, and played maybe 10 games against him. I was like, this character deserves nothing. This character deserves nothing. He deserves to stay where he is. I hate this character, bro. Oh my god, the character is so dumb once he starts his offense, man. But I just gotta say, I know Bruno. You know, I had him edit some videos for me. You know, I've done commentary with him as well, and it's so funny. The man has changed entirely. You know, over the past year, you know, he's had his kid, right? You know, he had the dad buff. Now, you know, he has more stress in his life that isn't fighting games, and then on top of that, he's playing fighting games. So, you know, he kind of needs to find his zen.
He needs that.
Zone.
He needs that guy. Yeah. He's like, all right, let's ground myself a little bit here.
You know, and you know, I feel bad. I feel disappointed in Giuna. I mean, Giuna, another person who's had their kid, right? You know, also has the dad, but Giuna's, if anyone is like a number one hater, it's Giuna, right? Like my man is always looking to come out here and say some shit. You know, so I respect the hustle from Giuna, but like I can't blame Bruno for making this list. You know, my man needs to find his center. Because you know,
absolutely.
I just want to say real quick. The last thing though, but at a small point though, I feel like he deserves the anger he gets because he plays Rashid. So, you know, but
okay, you're not coming for a fellow Rashid main. You got a Rashid main in here, brother.
He's a Rashid main.
He forgot to mention he's a Rashid man. This is crazy.
Why am I catching a stray over here?
Maybe it's a little bit deserved after all. That character's on
maybe, you know what? Yeah,
it takes skill to play Rashid. It takes actual skill.
Don't you play Chip and Strive, motherfucker?
Yes, I do. Okay, and there is so much more. Chip is not just you fly and do funny buttons. You actually got to think. You actually got to turn your brain on, especially in defense.
Bro,
but
you have to gamble. You have every interaction is a gamble for your entire life bar.
Exactly, it is a gamble. It's gambling.
I have to ask Ed because you know, okay, you know, since we're on this topic, you know, what is your anti-Crashout guide? You know, when you're playing your funny characters, how do you know stay centered? You know, throughout.
This is like because before I used to play Nintendo stuff competitively, Splatoon, Smash, and as I've been playing for what years? I've been doing competitive stuff for like 10 years. I've found out what my crash out guide is. You can have a list, you can use it whatever you want, but being able to identify it yourself. And the thing that works for me kind of alludes to something we were talking about before with our locals. It's quite literally, don't be alone. Don't be alone online. Don't be alone just grinding ranked. I find that makes me more angry. But if I get somebody like in a voice call, anything, go out to a local, see my opponent, that just mellows me out so much because there's somebody else right there trying to have fun with me and trying to chill out. So then I'm just like, hey, like what can I improve on when I'm at a local? So that I'm not like going home like, damn, I suck.
So you don't just yell and throw the controller at the person you're next to.
You don't get into
that. No, who do? I have not witnessed that, but like that's crazy. That's crazy that people do that, bro.
That is actually hilarious.
Oh man, no, it's. I think for me, dude, I can't see my opponent as my enemy. Like I can't do it unless they do something to me that's like disrespectful, and then the switch is on. But like, I'm the type of guy, like if you're playing me at the local, you do something cool, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be like, fuck, great duck, dude, great duck, awesome. Oh, that's a sick combo, sick read. And then I lose, it's GG's and hands are like, damn, I just went 0-2.
Get that hand away from me.
Don't you dare shake my hand. What's your problem? Filthy Zafina player.
Don't shake my hand. I'm taking this bundle. It's mine now.
Walk it home.
Oh man. No, but I'm also the type to like talk smack. I love talking shit. Just to people I know, to my friends for sure. If we're playing some sets. When I was at Texas Showdown, the Postal guy's house, they were me and my friend were playing. And I hit him with a rage art, and I'm like, I just stood up, I looked at him, stood up and stared at him. I'm like, yeah, look at that. I pointed at the screen. Look at that, buddy. Look at that.
Then it didn't kill.
It didn't kill. No, it didn't. I stood up for no reason.
Oh my
so wait,
God,
so now that leaves the question of who else? So Hispanic, what is your crash out tech? Now that I think about it, we know DJ, we know NM. So what's yours now?
I don't know. For me, for the anti-Crashout Tech or the Crashout Tech, because like when I see DJ on
don't
screen,
play Blanca against this guy. Just chill. Don't play Blanca against this guy. Just chill.
As an honest Ryu main, us Ryu players having to really work hard.
My God.
Blast.
Us still bottom 5 Ryu mains, having to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, all that jazz. Really work our way up from the bottom. In general, like I used to get really bad like playing unranked. Like I think I started really playing fighting games like I guess more seriously back when like Dragon Ball Fighters came out. And it was really bad for me. Like I used to take like ranked, I'd get really mad at ranked and things like that. And it was kind of the same thing like NM said, like, once I started playing with other people and not taking it as seriously, right? Like not thinking like trying to treat it like it's a tournament game or anything like that. Like, because ranked, like, who cares, right? Like ranked it's whatever. Like funny number go up, like whatever. It's not like
Pixels
once I stopped taking it that seriously, it really changed how my mindset, and it made me play a lot better. Also, so it's just for me, it's just a matter of not taking it seriously. Though I will say my issue is that I got multiple friends involved in playing Street Fighter and fighting games in general now, and one of them is now the source of all my stress in my life because they play Modern Zangief, and they are. I'm telling you, this is his first fighting game ever, and the how quickly this person has improved and gotten so good at this game playing Modern Zangief is just agonizing because we play against them, and now since we all know, like when you see like online, you're like, why would you make that kind of like read against this person in this matchup that makes no sense? But we've been playing against each other for so long that we know each other's intricacies, and this man is just like, he knows what you're gonna do before you do it, and it's the most. I'm telling you, I've never seen like it goes red. Everything goes red when this man does like a jump air.
Why would you? Why would you do that?
Like it's crazy, and pile Modern on top of that with like instant level 2 whenever you go fireball or something.
You just hit
I'm just like
one button
going
super.
To scream.
Oh my God.
It's so bad.
Wake up, one button super. GG, shake my hand, watch this.
Shout out to Hoisterino. So,
That's funny.
Modern
as hell,
Zangief.
man.
Oh,
All
man.
right, we'll swing it to Kubo as the last one. What's your anti-Crashout Tech And then
I
we'll close it
forgot.
out.
I'm last now. You know what? Anti-Crashout Tech, it's a little bit challenging for me. So I was in the same Tekken Hell rank pool where I played ranked. I didn't really play with a lot of different people. So I had like a lot of crashes lately. But after a while, it kind of just turned into this. Actually kind of started more when I played Street Fighter 6. I just have to remember that there is learning in everything that I do. And I was taking Street Fighter 6 in such a manner that was like, okay, I should be doing this a little bit more. I was watching people and I was learning from them. It's always like, I just shut up. If I make a mistake, I'll be like, damn, move on. Life goes on, bro. You got hit. You know that now. So register in your head, because next time when you play, you're not going to get hit, right? Right? Just try to hype myself up and just try to keep myself in a good space. To avoid crashing out like badly, I just stay quiet and I'll just have my music on in my head. Or I would just step away, go play like Nikkei or something, or just go listen to music and be like, all right, I'm chilled out, everything's fine. Because I fight a lot of veterans out here in my scene. So every time I fight a veteran, like Magir, Marissa player, for example, smoke me real bad. Mind you, I play Cammy. So he smoked me real bad, but did I crash out? I said no. That's what I expected. I should have been more prepared going into this. That's what the hell I get. That's what I get.
One of the fellows at his local. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yep. And you know what? I don't have an issue with it because Matt Gear is a wonderful person. Shout out to my man.
He's great.
He's a great guy, great Marissa player, and someone that is a very good teacher as well. So those veterans that I fight against, I can't be mad because, again, it's like, if I have a question, I can always ask them. If I'm getting frustrated, then that means I just need to step the hell away, because why am I letting the game that I'm trying to enjoy, whether I'm playing it for fun or for not, is kind of bothering me. It's just my enjoyment at the end of the day. Medusa just hates everyone, so that's different.
Yeah, crazy said Medusa just hates everyone. I mean, Medusa hates everyone's character because, like, because, like, Medusa, when we do casual matches, casual lobbies, it's always like, especially against me, because, I went from playing Jin,
she's gonna block me
a little bit, to Kazuya. I'm on the Kazuya train right now, so. He did get nerfed. Okay. Come on, man. He's like
sure.
He's like bottom of A tier right now. So
that's crazy. Yeah, he's top. He went from top 3 to top 5.
He's honestly unusable.
Unusable. My ass.
Listen, whoever. Can we get the GIF of the Spider-Man? Like the Spider-Man? No, and it's just like just moving one spot on the channel. Like,
he's not top 5. He's like top 12, you know what I'm saying?
Woe is me.
Woe is me. It's no different from what's the character in Strive that's like top 3 to top 5, and because I can't remember off my head, like
top 3 to top 5.
Bro,
like it's like a top 4 right now.
Top 4.
It's Strive. Like if you're a big body, you're cooking. That's it.
Yeah, it's so true.
Going from
so true. I literally casted like extras last night, and so many of the matches were so close, and then you just had Red I Am Not on the Gold Lewis and just decimated everybody, because again, the Behemoth Typhoon chip is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna go from
just play
Gold
Pot
Lewis
or just
to
play Mr. Lewison. So
I'm gonna go from playing Gold Lewis to playing Soul Bad Guy. Oh, so you went from top 4, if not top 1, to like top 10, I guess.
Wow, such a big drop.
Such a big drop.
It's over. It's over.
Oh no, it's over. Now I'm honest, guys. I'm honest.
You're honest.
Yeah, trust me. I'm honest.
Real.
But thank you, everyone, keeping it honest with us. Thank you for joining us on Link Up. I've been DJ alongside Kumo MM and Hispanic. Kumo, where can they find you, my man?
Well, now that we got ourselves a little upgrade, you guys can see my @ right directly under my name. It will always be Kuomoko _, and if I so happen to change, I will probably say something, but it is not changing for as long as I can think of. So feel free to find me on Twitter, follow me there. I commentate, and I'm trying to get back into streaming. It is not easy by any means, especially when you work. So just keep up with me. I'm trying to push for it.
Hell yeah. And Ninstar, where can they find you, my friend?
Of course, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Ninstar123 and on YouTube at Ninstar236. I just post when I can. I've been, like you, Kumo, trying to stream back up, but of course, life is life. Full-time job, school, all of that. Doesn't give you a lot of free time, but you make it or you can trying to get back into the content swing of thing too. But of course, as I said before, I'll be a CEO. So if you see me over there, just say a quick hello.
Yep. Same here. If you find me at any major, say a quick hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And last but not least, we got Hispanic at the Disco. Where can they find you, my brother?
Yes, you can find me at anim_Nick on X or Twitter, whatever is your fancy. And you can catch me on Stream Team Battle X here on Twitch. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Fridays are our team event that we do every Friday. Stream Team Battle. It's a lot of fun. Got a lot of cool people coming up. Had a Dominican Mind Game guy. Fidel himself was on last week, so yeah, Fidel was on. It was a lot of fun. Great set.
I love his series, man.
Dude, he's cooking. He's cooking, man. That guy, he finds me all the craziest players too for Stream Team Battle. So shout out to Fidel, great guy. But this week we got I got a lot of fun stuff. We got classic versus modern team coming up. So Sizen was a really crazy good Lily modern player, so they'll be leading a team. So yeah, catch me there. I'll be doing commentary also tomorrow on SFA. Monday. So for SFA for Neo Judai. So catch me then.
Hey.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We appreciate y'all, everyone who came to watch. Love y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Peace.